What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about the ancient weapons in One Piece. The three ancient weapons in One Piece is Pluton, which is this like massive, fuck off battleship. I will censor myself. But yeah, it's a big ship that can basically destroy an island in one shot. The second one being Poseidon, which is not really a weapon. It's more of an ability that the mermaid princess Shirahoshi beholds, and she's able to control all of the sea kings, these leviathan-sized creatures, and she has the ability to control them. Now with Uranos, we don't know anything about that. We don't know anything about Uranos yet. All we know is its name, which his name is terrifying, because Uranos means of the sky, which is like the god of the sky. So it might have to do something with the sky. I don't know. Let's first talk about Pluton, though. Now, Pluton was first mentioned in Alabasta. It was mentioned by Crocodile because that was his whole goal on Alabasta. His goal wasn't to take over the kingdom of Alabasta. It was really to find the poneglyph that, had the instructions for where Pluton was at so he could take over the world. And that's why Nico Robin was with him, because, Nico Robin's the only person that knows how to read the poneglyphs. So, and of course, we all know what happened in Alabasta. Luffy came, beat Crocodile up, and then Robin joined the crew. It doesn't get brought up again until we get to Water 7. Because Water 7, now we're kind of getting into the reason why these things are so powerful. Pluton was built in Water 7, so the blueprints to build it, have been passed down by, passed down in the generations, and eventually fell into Tom's laps. Well, then, Tom built the Oro Jackson, and so that was they're like, when Roger died, they were looking to kill all of them. So Tom passed it down to Iceberg, and Iceberg passed it down to Cutty Flam, or we know him as Frankie today. And why that's important is because, when Tom was getting hauled off to Enies Lobby to be tried, and I put very big air quotations around tried because he's going to be found guilty. That's how Enies Lobby works. And Frankie tried to stop the sea train, and but they thought that he died. They thought that Frankie died, or Cutty Flam, that was his first name. So Frankie rebuilt himself as a cyborg and called himself Frankie. And now he was running like a little mafia type-esque doing in Water 7. So, yeah, they thought, that's the reason why Iceberg passed him down to him, because they think you're dead. You're some completely other guy. But then, CP9 is really good at their job, and they figured out that Frankie was Cutty Flam. So they brought over Robin, because Robin could read the poneglyph. She was a big threat to the world government. And Frankie as well, because he had the blueprints of Pluton on him. So when Frankie found out that Robin didn't want to use Pluton for destruction, because Robin knows where Pluton is at, in the Alabasta poneglyph, the poneglyph in Alabasta, it tells him clearly how to get to Pluton and exactly where it's at. Literally, if the Straw Hats want to go get Pluton, all they have to do is just ask Robin, hey, Robin, do you know where Pluton is at? Sure. But I would think that only Luffy knows that. I don't think that would be something, because you have to imagine Luffy doesn't care about something like that, but it would probably be only something that Luffy would know that Robin, because Robin wouldn't be bragging about, I know where Pluton's at. She wouldn't be bragging like that. So, and in that whole little scene, it was Cobra, Crocodile, and Luffy, and in her, of course. But yeah, it was just those three guys. So only those three guys know that she knows where it's at. No one else does. So no one else knows, does she go down to the poneglyphs in Alabasta? Because they don't know where the poneglyphs are at. So, yeah. And he destroyed the blueprints. But I don't think he actually destroyed the blueprints. He's a cyborg. I'm pretty sure he might have kept the backup, maybe booted in his system. So that way he would never forget. Because that's something that if, the reason why the blueprints were still around is because if it fell into the wrong hands, they need to find a way to build a new one. So if you're but yeah, just on the rare chance that the world government does find Pluton, it would be kind of stupid for it to be destroyed, even though they may never know where exactly it's at. But just on the off chance they do, you got to have a backup. And I would hopefully think Frankie's not that stupid, and then he would just destroy the blueprints. But you never know. But I would say he probably kept a backup of them. Let's talk about Poseidon. Now, Poseidon, as I explained, is not really a weapon, so to say, but it's more of an ability that the Princess Shirahoshi has. And she's able to control the Sea Kings. We find this out in Fishman Island, at the tail end of it. Yo ho ho. Literally, fuck, I'm stupid. No, we find out about it at the end of Fishman Island. And Robin was talking with King Neptune, and she was like, okay, so what's the deal with all these ancient weapons? And she says Shirahoshi is the ancient weapon Poseidon. She is the only ancient weapon so far that we know about what it actually looks like. Because Pluton, we know Pluton's a battleship, but we don't know exactly what Pluton looks like. We don't know how big it is, all that stuff. I'm pretty sure it's going to be gigantic. I would say it would have to be 4 or 5 marine battleships. I don't know how big that is, but it would have to be pretty fucking huge, because there's going to be cannons on it. And you blow up an island in one shot. It has to be pretty large. And with Shirahoshi, she's able to control the Sea Kings. These things are pretty big too. I mean, we go back to the early chapters of One Piece where we first find out about these things, and literally the Sea Kings are making the Going Merry look like a little speck. They're that big. And the fact that Shirahoshi can control those things is quite scary. Now, when we get into Uranus, we don't know anything about it. But there are theories going around about what it is. Now, I just want to start out by saying these first 2 theories I don't agree with, but they're kind of popular, so I kind of just want to dismiss them right quick. I'm sorry if you like these theories, but I'm about to ruin your day. The first one being that, well, we know Shirahoshi can control the Sea Kings. What about Momonosuke being the ancient weapon Uranus? I don't agree with that. Why? It's not. It's because, well, first of all, we already have the ability kind of power, and I don't think 2 abilities would really make sense. Plus, you got to look at it from perspective. Yeah, Momonosuke controls Zunisha, which is a pretty big size elephant. But Shirahoshi can control all of the Sea Kings, all of them. If she wanted to, she could command all of them to come in at one time, and she could have a whole army of them at her disposal if she really wanted to. But Momonosuke can only listen to Zunisha. And the thing's powerful, but it's not a deadly, Jack was almost just took it, literally Jack almost killed it. Took it down, so I mean not really killed it, but took it down. And him going around walking really slowly and taking it, taking its trunk and on the island. It would just be a slow, painful process. So that's why I don't think Momonosuke is Uranus. Now, there was another theory going around that, maybe it's a devil fruit power that could be the ancient weapon. Are you serious? Again, that's an ability kind of thing, and we already have that with Shirahoshi. I don't think it'd be a devil fruit. Because that would kind of, I think that would be cheap. That would be cheap writing. It'd just be it's a devil fruit power that everyone will, it was the source of all devil fruits, kind of like One for All. But it's not going to be like that. Do I think there is a source? Yes, I think there's a source for them. But I don't think it's like a superpower. Who knows? But whatever. And the theory I like, though, the theory to me that makes the most sense is, well, let's look at the ancient weapons we already know about. We know about Pluton and we know about Poseidon. What do we know about Pluton? Well, it's a ship, right? A ship to travel on the water. And who mostly rides on ships? Well, humans, because humans can't swim and they can't fly. And then Poseidon is, of course, the mermaid princess Shirahoshi, who, you know, of course, belongs to the merfolk and the fishmen, because that's their leader. And so yeah, we know about those two. So we can assume that Pluton was built for the humans, and Poseidon was made for the fishmen and the merfolk. So the humans have, like, the land creatures or humans, we'll just say, because they're the dominant race, have their weapon. Then the fishmen and the merfolk have their weapon. What about the Skypeans? What weapon do they have? Uranus. It makes sense because Uranus means Uranus was the god of the sky. I mean, who's up in the sky? The Skypeans. So it would make sense that the weapon is in the sky. Now, you can go as far as to say that, you know, Uranus is up on the moon. You know, because that would make sense. You know, and then NL has something to do with it, because that would make perfect sense. Because that would be something that would definitely happen to him. Because his whole shtick was that he was God. Because he had this Logia power. And what really, like, I think he knew what it was. I don't know if Skypeans actually know what devil fruit powers are. Because, again, very limited knowledge on those kind of things in eyes of the One Piece world. Like, literally, maybe, like, people on the Grand Line would know about them. But, like, you're talking about, like, places like, again, like Amazon Lily Wano don't know anything about it. So, but yeah, his whole stick was being God. And when Luffy came out there, ruined his day. So, it would make sense if he got himself a super destructive weapon that could destroy life at any moment. That would make sense. That would make perfect sense. So, I wouldn't have a problem with him being on the moon. And, of course, it would be in the sky, and it would be like that. So, that would make perfect sense. And Oda has come out and said that there is an arc going to the moon. So all the pieces are just laying together. I think that Uranus will be the second one revealed, though. Because we know what Poseidon is. Is Shirahoshi. And we know Pluton's a battleship. We know nothing about Uranus. I guarantee you we're going to find out about Uranus first before we're going to find out about Pluton. Because I feel like with Uranus, that will have to play a key role in the moon. Because I think the moon is going to hold a lot of answers to this whole One Piece thing. There's theories going around saying that, you know, One Piece will end on the moon. I don't think it's going to end on the moon. I think there's going to be an arc on the moon, but it's not going to end. And I'm thinking the ancient weapon, Uranus, is going to play a big role in that. If I'm writing this story, because you're getting towards the end, so you're gonna have to start dropping things. You're gonna have to start making these big key plot points, elements in your story. You know, so if I were Oda, we may not really need to reveal Pluton yet, but if we're going to the moon, Uranus has to be there. And Uranus has to be a part of the story. Because then everything would make sense. And when we see it, everyone's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is that thing? And I can just see it now too. You're on the moon with Inaru, and he captured like key members of he captured maybe Luffy for however, and he captured maybe like Sanji, Usopp, and Robin. That's my 4 that got captured. And they're just sitting there and they're just watching this. And they're like, and then Inaru's like, oh, look, I have this ancient, this weapon that I found. And he just showed, and it's Urano's. And like Robin recognizes it. Because Robin knows what Urano's probably is. She probably knows, what type of weapon it is. And she's looking at it, and they're like, what is that? And then she goes, it's like her jaw is dropped, and she goes, it's the ancient weapon Urano's. And it's like, what? And we're just like, what the hell just happened? So yeah, I could imagine that Uranus is on the moon. And that would be the only place it would make sense. But what do you guys think? If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching.